I'll wait to skiply. Today we're back with Hercules' fifth labor, which is to clean the stables of Augeus. After the fourth labor, which was really, kind of heavy and dark, Hercules is returning to Argos, and the whole city is almost completely empty. And there's this eye-watering, awful, terrible smell through the whole city. When he finally finds Eurystheus, most of the city is gone. Eurystheus has wax balls up his nose that tells Hercules that his labor is to fix this thing as fast as he can. Hercules looks for the source of the smell. He basically walks into the wind, as awful as that is for a while, and finds that in the neighboring kingdom, there's a king Augeus who has built this huge stable for his cattle. In the ancient world, cows are money. Think meat, think leather, think milk. They're useful. They move on their own. They're enormously valuable. And Augeus had 3,000 of them. He's probably the richest person in Greece at this time. And the thing is, cows do basically two things. They eat, and, well, they do what happens after you eat. Augeus has never cleaned these stables in a year since they were built. And Hercules goes to King Augeus and says, look, the neighboring kingdom has almost been wiped out by the terrible stench coming off of your stables. I'm in the service of the gods. I'm here to clean. Augeus bets Hercules 1/10 of his cattle, 300 cattle, this enormous sum, if Hercules can do the task in one day, thinking that the whole thing is impossible. Hercules says, I'll start in the morning. I just need a shovel. Hercules does this kind of the smart way. He ends up digging a ditch all the way from one wall of the stables down to a river, and from the other wall all the way up to a river that was upstream. He knocks down part of the wall, busts open the ditch, and the river is diverted through this, rinsing all of the waste and stuff away. Hercules is also careful to block up his ditch again with a huge boulder so that the river returns on its normal course. You don't divert rivers permanently in the ancient world unless you really want to tick off the gods. And I always assure my students in this, the cows are fine. Usually someone is worried about them, but they're a little wet, they're a little confused, and everything's okay. Hercules goes back to King Augeus and says, well, so that's it. Stables are clean. It's been a day. And Augeus welches on the deal. Just absolutely says, no, get out. Absolutely not. And refuses to abide by the bet he had made with Hercules. Hercules complains about this to Eurystheus, and, well, things actually get worse for Hercules here, somehow. As if, being elbow deep in cow muck all day wasn't bad enough. Eurystheus goes after Hercules, kind of out of nowhere. He says, wait a minute, when you started this whole thing, you told me you weren't supposed to get a reward for any of this. And Hercules is like, I kind of didn't ask for it, but that doesn't matter. Suddenly, this whole labor doesn't count. And then Eurystheus points out, hey, wait a minute. On the Hydra, you had help. Your sidekick, your nephew or whatever, helped you out on that. That one doesn't count either. And then all of a sudden, Hercules is trapped and has to spend another, 2 years on top of all the stuff that he's done working for Eurystheus. In some versions of the myth, this part doesn't happen, and it was 12 from the start. But really, this kind of shows, well, more of Eurystheus' character. He's becoming more villainous here. Hercules is getting really popular with people in town. He's gotten rid of the stink. He's gotten rid of that lion. He's gotten rid of all sorts of stuff. And, well, Eurystheus is worried that Hercules being more popular than him will eventually make Hercules more powerful than him and set Hercules up to overthrow him. This is deliberately kind of a silly labor, kind of a funny one, and it's important to have something silly or funny after something really dark when you're telling a story. Otherwise, it becomes very difficult on your audience. And ancient authors realized this, and that's why this labor here, which frankly is about Hercules shoveling dung, comes after one of the most emotional, nasty moments of the whole story. We were supposed to be halfway through the labors at this point, but because of Eurystheus being so mean about it, now we're still just shy of it. See you guys in the next video, which will get us to the halfway point. Take care.